Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into the untold stories of 10 of the hottest gay reality TV stars who aren't just turning up the heat on screen, but reshaping the LGBTQ+ community through bold activism and unforgettable moments. Stick around, because you won't believe the jaw-dropping twists and inspiring projects each of these icons has in store. If you're as excited as we are, smash that like button, hit subscribe for more deep dives, and drop a comment below with which star's journey you can't wait to hear about. And now, let's get started. Born and raised in Oakland, Ken XY's first taste of liberation came at a neighborhood block party where he sneaked onto a makeshift stage to dance under string lights. His gravity-defying splits and fearless energy instantly magnetized everyone around him. Those backyard showcases fueled a dream. By 21, he'd hitchhiked to Los Angeles with nothing but a duffel bag of streetwear and a head full of choreography ideas. After years of spinning records at underground queer raves and choreographing routines in dimly lit studios, Ken landed his breakout moment on Out TV's Go-Go for the Gold, where his kinetic performances and soulful touch-hungry anthem turned him into an overnight sensation. But Ken's journey wasn't without hurdles. Early in his career, he faced rejection for not fitting the typical club scene mold, and he nearly walked away from dance after a severe ankle injury threatened to end his ambitions. It was his community, friends from those first block parties, fellow queer performers, and local drag legends, who rallied around him, reminding Ken that resilience often blooms from adversity. Drawing on that support, he founded Dance for All, a nonprofit that brings free dance workshops to LGBTQ+ youth centers in underfunded neighborhoods, teaching not just technique but confidence, self-expression, and mutual respect. Last Pride, Ken orchestrated a flash mob gala in West Hollywood, uniting performers of every gender and ability to celebrate queer history through movement. He's currently collaborating with a youth shelter to develop an adaptive dance curriculum for trans and non-binary teens recovering from homelessness. His next big project? A short documentary tracing the evolution of queer club culture from Stonewall to present day, anchored by interviews with elder ballroom icons and rising voguing stars. Which Ken XY milestone moved you the most? The daring comeback after his injury, the flash mob gala that lit up West Hollywood, or his vision for the queer dance documentary? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep this conversation dancing. David Barta's journey began on the soccer pitch of suburban Burbank, where his lightning-fast footwork and competitive spirit earned him a semi-pro contract at 18. Yet even as he scored goals, David felt an itch for a different kind of spotlight. When a modeling scout spotted him at a community fundraiser where he'd volunteered to coach underprivileged kids, he traded his cleats for tailored jackets and stormed onto Out TV's Men of West Hollywood. Viewers watched in real time as David navigated drama, romance, and late-night dance floor showdowns. But it was his impromptu serenade, an a cappella rendition of an LGBTQ+ anthem under the neon glow of Venice Beach, that truly cemented his place in reality TV lore. Off-camera, David channels that same passion into action. He launched Goals and Growth, a nationwide program offering free soccer clinics for LGBTQ+ youth, pairing each session with mental health workshops led by licensed counselors. During last year's World Pride, he partnered with the Trevor Project to host a charity match at WeHo's famed Pride Stadium, raising tens of thousands for crisis intervention services. His mentorship initiative, Out and Onside, connects queer athletes with college scholarships, ensuring that talent isn't sidelined by prejudice or lack of resources. Next up, David is co-founding an inclusive sports complex in Los Angeles that will feature gender-neutral locker rooms, trauma-informed coaching, and a full calendar of community tournaments. He's also consulting with local school districts to integrate LGBTQ+ history into physical education curricula, believing that every child deserves to see themselves represented, whether they're on the field or in the stands. David Barta's story reminds us that the greatest victories aren't just measured in goals scored, but in the lives uplifted along the way. Antoni Porowski's path from Montreal to international stardom began with the simplest of joys, gathering around his abuela's kitchen table to help roll pierogi dough, soaking in stories of resilience and family pride. After earning a psychology degree, he moved to New York City, where he studied acting by day and experimented with bold flavor combinations by night. When Queer Eye premiered in 2018, audiences fell in love with Antoni's gentle encouragement, his "You got this, honey" pep talks, and his knack for turning humble ingredients into transformative meals. Yet Antoni's true passion lies in forging community. In 2022, he launched Feast for All, a series of pop-up communal dinners in cities across North America, where LGBTQ+ elders, homeless youth, and asylum seekers share tables and recipes. Each event pairs a local chef with a guest who has a refugee or hive survivor background, allowing attendees to break bread and build bridges through shared culinary heritage. In San Francisco, he partnered with a queer-run urban farm to harvest fresh produce for these feasts. In Miami, he collaborated with a transgender women's shelter to host cooking workshops that double as job training sessions. Beyond the table, Antoni is developing a mentorship program connecting LGBTQ+ culinary students with established chefs committed to inclusive hiring. He's also working on a documentary series that follows mobile kitchens, bringing free, nutritious meals to queer youth centers and food deserts. Through each initiative, Antoni channels his belief that nourishment extends beyond the plate. It's about dignity, belonging, and the radical act of caring for one another. Gabriel Santana's first brush with the spotlight came at age 13 on the set of a Brazilian telenovela, where he learned early that storytelling could spark empathy, and that authentic representation mattered more than perfect hair. Fast forward to 2023's Big Brother, Brazil 23, and viewers witnessed Gabriel's quiet courage as he navigated the Camarote VIP suite. He turned a midnight heart-to-heart about bisexuality into a watershed moment for Brazilian TV, prompting millions to tune in and discuss fluid identities in real time. Inspired by that breakthrough, Gabriel co-founded Casa Arco-Iris, a Rio-based collective offering art therapy, legal aid, and job skills workshops for LGBTQ+ youth. He spearheaded a campaign to convert an abandoned warehouse into a safe space hub, complete with dance studios, counseling rooms, and a micro-cinema for queer filmmakers. Last Pride, Gabriel led a silent march through Copacabana, holding up placards featuring stories of LGBTQ+ elders who endured Brazil's darkest eras, reminding the nation that progress is built on remembrance. On screen and off, Gabriel remains committed to visibility with purpose. He's developing a bilingual podcast that amplifies queer voices across Latin America, and he's in talks with an international streaming service to star in a coming-of-age drama based on his own experiences. Whether he's directing a workshop on self-expression through photography or lobbying City Hall for anti-discrimination ordinances, Gabriel Santana weaves every chapter of his life into a tapestry of advocacy, art, and unapologetic authenticity. Colton Underwood's journey reads like a three-act drama. High school football hero, NFL tight end, and reality TV leading man on The Bachelor. But his most pivotal chapter began in 2021, when he revealed on live television that he was gay, becoming the first Bachelor star to come out publicly. That moment, broadcast to millions, sparked both celebration and backlash, forcing Colton to reckon with the weight of visibility and the responsibility that accompanies breaking new ground. Determined to turn adversity into action, he established the Underwood Foundation, which awards scholarships to LGBTQ+ students pursuing sports and funds mental health programs in college athletic departments. In collaboration with university coaches, Colton hosts annual retreats that blend mindfulness, group therapy, and adaptive fitness for queer athletes who faced isolation or discrimination in locker rooms. Last summer, he organized a beachfront Run with Pride 5K that drew thousands and raised significant funds for anti-bullying initiatives. Colton also launched a digital platform, Athletes for Equality, connecting closeted or questioning players with mentors who have navigated similar paths. His memoir, The First Time, is being adapted into a short film series that chronicles the highs and lows of coming out under the spotlight. Through every play, every speech, and every scholarship awarded, Colton Underwood is redefining what it means to be both an athlete and an advocate, showing that true courage often happens off the field. When Paulie Calafiore entered the Big Brother house in 2016, He arrived with a game plan but left with something far more valuable, an unvarnished look at his own vulnerabilities. After surviving a brutal blindside and coping with crippling anxiety under 24/7 surveillance, Paulie emerged determined to channel his strategic mind into empowering others. He founded Mind and Muscle, a program that combines high-intensity training with cognitive behavioral techniques, tailored specifically for LGBTQ+ veterans and first responders grappling with PTSD. Paulie's first Mind and Muscle retreat, held in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, brought together queer veterans and mental health professionals for a weekend of obstacle course challenges, group therapy sessions, and peer-led storytelling circles. Participants described the experience as transformational, crediting Paulie's own transparency about his struggles with inspiring them to confront their own. He's since partnered with VA hospitals to integrate his curriculum into existing rehabilitation programs and launched an online series of live-streamed workouts that raise funds for LGBTQ+ mental health hotlines. On the entertainment front, Paulie continues to compete on MTV's The Challenge, using his platform to highlight inclusive hiring practices and anti-harassment training in the entertainment industry. His next venture is a graphic novel, co-written with a queer comic book artist, that dramatizes the intersection of strategy games and self-discovery. Whether he's masterminding alliances on reality TV or designing therapy-infused boot camps, Paulie Calafiore proves that true strength comes from facing our inner challenges head-on. Cody Rigsby's transition from Broadway chorus line to Peloton podium was fueled by a near burnout on the New York theater circuit. After performing 8 shows a week, he discovered indoor cycling as a way to decompress, only to realize that his flair for choreography and his irrepressible humor made him a natural instructor. In 2018, he launched his signature Pride Ride, a class dedicated to LGBTQ+ visibility that raised over $100,000 for local queer youth centers in its first year. Building on that success, Cody founded Ride and Rise, a monthly series of community-sponsored spin and story events. Each session pairs a high-energy cycling workout with a guest speaker, ranging from trans activists to queer historians, sharing personal narratives about resilience and hope. The events culminate in a story circle, where participants can exchange experiences, forging connections that extend far beyond the bike. Cody also collaborates with homeless shelters to offer free pedal-powered therapy sessions, using bike-mounted generators to power counseling workshops in resource-scarce environments. He's currently developing a virtual reality cycling experience that immerses riders in historic Pride marches, blending fitness with education about LGBTQ+ milestones. Through every beat drop and motivational cue, Cody Rigsby reminds us that community is the ultimate endorphin, and that when we ride together, we rise together. In 2002, Jim Verraros made history as the first openly gay finalist on American Idol, stepping onto that stage with a guitar in hand and a mission in his heart: to shatter stereotypes and inspire anyone who felt unseen. His emotional rendition of One More Try moved judges and viewers alike, sparking a groundswell of fan letters from young people who saw their own stories in his voice. Rather than fade after the finale, Jim turned that momentum into a career that seamlessly blends pop rock anthems with activism. He launched Idol Impact, a traveling Pride concert series that features emerging LGBTQ+ musicians alongside veteran headliners. Each stop includes a community forum on local issues, like anti-trans legislation or HIV stigma, and Jim personally moderates conversations with activists, healthcare providers, and policymakers. In 2023, Idol Impact partnered with a national school district to pilot an arts integration curriculum, using music and performance to teach empathy and combat bullying. Jim's latest album, Amplify, channels stories collected during these forums, tracks about chosen family, resilience in the face of adversity, and the unbreakable bonds forged in safe spaces. He's also mentoring a cohort of queer songwriters, providing studio time and industry connections to ensure that the next generation of LGBTQ+ voices is heard loud and clear. Through every note he sings and every community he uplifts, Jim Verraros remains a testament to the power of authenticity and the enduring impact of being proudly, unapologetically yourself. Nyle DiMarco's dual victories on America's Next Top Model and Dancing with the Stars were landmark achievements for deaf representation. But his true passion has always been education. Frustrated by the lack of accessible learning environments, Nyle co-founded the Nyle DiMarco Foundation, which funds deaf youth programs on college campuses, residential initiatives where deaf and hearing students live, learn, and celebrate together in fully captioned ASL immersive settings. One pivotal moment came during a visit to Gallaudet University, where Nyle sat in on a history lecture delivered in both English and ASL. He watched students light up as they grasped complex concepts without barriers, an experience that crystallized his vision for educational equity. Since then, his foundation has expanded to support deaf-led theater troupes, captioning campaigns for streaming platforms, and annual scholarships for deaf students pursuing careers in media and technology. On the advocacy front, Nyle has lobbied Congress for expanded federal funding for sign language interpreters in public schools and hospitals. He also consults with major studios to implement inclusive production practices, from hiring deaf crew members to ensuring on-set interpreters. Off-screen, he hosts Silent Voices, a podcast that amplifies stories from the global deaf community, blending personal narratives with policy discussions. Through each initiative, Nyle DiMarco demonstrates that true inclusion requires more than visibility. It demands systemic change, driven by the voices of those most affected. Jazzul Escada's first taste of the spotlight came when he was 17, performing aerial silks in a tiny du Soleil troupe touring small European festivals. One night, after a particularly electric routine set to a haunting cello solo, he noticed tears in the eyes of a teenage audience member who later confessed that Jazzul's performance gave them the courage to come out to their family. That moment crystallized his belief that movement could speak truths words often couldn't. Returning to California, Jazzul dove into social media storytelling, posting daily clips of his gravity-defying routines. When a pole dance sequence went viral, set against the backdrop of a pride parade, it caught the attention of a queer-focused arts nonprofit. They invited Jazzul to lead Motion Mosaic, a year-long dance therapy program for LGBTQ+ seniors and youth experiencing homelessness. Each session blended contemporary choreography with personal narrative work, allowing participants to reclaim agency over their bodies and stories. Motion Mosaic's culminating showcase in downtown Los Angeles featured performances choreographed by program alumni, interwoven with Jazzul's own signature silks and pole pieces. He's now developing a touring version of the program, partnering with community centers in cities from São Paulo to Stockholm. Additionally, Jazzul collaborates with mental health professionals to train dance instructors in trauma-informed practices, ensuring that every spin and stretch is both safe and transformative. Through each leap and landing, Jazzul Escada embodies the belief that art and authenticity are inseparable, and that every body has a story worth dancing. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the lives and legacies of these 10 trailblazing stars. If you felt inspired by their journeys, whether it was Ken XY's dance revolution, Antoni's community feasts, or Nyle's fight for education, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss an inside look at your favorite icons. Drop a comment telling us which story moved you most or which star you want us to spotlight next. Thanks for watching, stay proud, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.